Hey everybody, Ben with Diesel Power Products here, and today we're going to go over the installation of this Edge PULSAR XT on this Gladiator with a 3-liter ECODiesel on there. Let's talk about applications real quick. This is going to cover 2020 to 2022 3.0 liter ECODiesels in the JT and JLs. So again, if you have the ECODiesel, this will cover you. If you have the gas engine, not so much. Install, fairly simple, but we're going to show you a couple of pain points that we encountered. So let's get under the hood. So in the instructions, first thing I tell you to do is obviously disconnect the battery, both terminals. That's good and fine. Next, getting the engine cover out of the way. There's 2 bolts along with the oil cap. Pulls forward. Put a cap back on there so you don't drop anything. Now, let's talk about where you need your friend with small hands. So on the 3-liter ECODiesel and with the Edge PULSAR, you're going to be teeing into 2 sensors mainly. Actually, 2 sensors at all. You have the MAP sensor, which is boost, and you have your rail pressure sensor, which is the pressure of the high pressure fuel at the fuel rail before it hits the injectors. Both of those sensors are tucked way down underneath there. We might need to get a light so you can see it better, but they are very far in there. There's a few brackets and whatnot on top of it, so take off whatever you need to get your hands on it. You might need a long pick. Again, maybe your friend with smaller hands, none of these. But it is possible. We did get it done, but again, it is pretty far in there. The connectors are very simple once you get them in there, but again, just very small working space. As far as the hood goes, you are going to want to get this hood all the way back. Jeeps have it, you can put it all the way back on the windshield. Ours has lights, so we made sure to put a blanket over there so we don't scratch anything. But again, real estate very tight in there. Other than that, we ran our power cord over to the positive battery terminal like they say in the instructions, and then ran the loom over towards the driver's side. Once you're over here, they'll have you take off the coolant reservoir just with these 2 10mm nuts and this fuse box with these 2 10mm nuts. That way you can run the cord behind everything, which you can kind of see right here. That way it's tucked away all nice and neat. And the nice thing is Jeep actually has an accessory plug right on the firewall right there that you just pop out, drill a 5/8 inch hole through, and that way you can feed the connector all the way into the cab where all the rest of the connections are made. Inside the cab, it is fairly straightforward. We're going to talk about it in just a minute, but as far as underneath the hood goes, that pretty much covers it. It does come with zip ties, which of course, much appreciated. Always like a nice clean install. But getting into the cab, yeah, let's look at it now. Once you're inside the cab, you can see we've got a T intersection going to the accelerator pedal. Pretty straightforward. Unplug the factory one, T in the harness, and you're good to go there. Next, there is one wire that you're going to fish all the way behind the center console, behind the glove box. Once you have that cord fished over to the passenger side, you'll see this green can junction box. Plug it into any open port, and you are good to go. We've also got the PULSAR box here. We use the supplied Velcro to tuck it nice up out of the way, so that way we're not going to kick it or have any issues with it falling down. So we've got everything hooked up now. Next, we need to get the app going and really, take charge and actually make some adjustments here. You can use the instructions. It has the QR code right there. You just hold your phone up and the camera will automatically scan that and take you to the App Store. You can download it, iPhone or Android. You're good to go there. We've got ours hooked up. Now, as you're hooking the app up, you may find the first few times you need to hold your phone within a foot of the device itself, with the key in the on position or the button in the on position. So button but not foot on brake to get it to connect. Now that we have our menu open here, you can see all the different options we have for settings on here. We've got our power level. Looks like we installed it for Cooper and he went immediately to power level 5, as you should. Tire size, you can put your tire size in here, not while the engine's running. But you can adjust your tire size. If you've changed your gear ratio, you can program for that. TPMS, that's tire pressure monitor system. If you're running, say, larger tires and you want to drop the PSI and you don't want that light blinking at you, this will allow you to change that threshold or just turn them off altogether. Button recall is pretty cool. If you have a whole bunch of settings, say you're towing and whatnot, you can select that. That way when you turn off the vehicle, all those buttons, when you turn it back on, will be working. ECT Protect, that's engine coolant protection. That's going to make it so none of the power levels come on until the coolant has reached the appropriate temperature. Next, we've got the sway bar disconnect feature on there, which allows you to bypass what the factory says. When it's okay to disconnect your sway bar, you have full control of that. Next, you've also got axle lock. For the electronic front and rear differentials, you can lock and unlock those as you please. You can also disable the traction control, which is very fun. You can do a manual regen here, which on these emissions and tag trucks is always a nice feature to have. Diagnostics for reading and deleting trouble codes if they should come up. High idle, so in the winter you can adjust where the high idle is set. Transfer case ratio, if you've changed the transfer case, you can also adjust that in there. And lighting options, you can do things like keep the fog lights on with the high beams, daytime running lights, return signals, all that kind of good stuff. You've got a lot of different options to choose from in there. Now, you can adjust a lot of these through the steering wheel controls as well, so check your instructions, but the app is the easiest and the fastest way to do it. If you have any questions on this or want to get one going for yourself, give us a call. We've got sales technicians on the phones 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday, and they are there to give you the best tech support in the industry. Don't have time for a phone call? We've got the chat feature on the website. You can email us, you can hit us up through social media, whatever works best for you. We are readily available to give you the best tech support in the industry. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.